Hello YouTube, this is Charlie426, and today we have the review of the P-Bandai exclusive, or P-Bandai exclusive, HG Full Armor Gundam. Now once again, as you can see right off the bat, this is one of those full armor Gundams that you can actually take off the armor. Now the full armor Gundam, yeah, the way how it actually works, yes, it is actually based on, basically on a regular RX-78. You were able to slap on armor and make it into the full armor Gundam. But so far in the HG line, we didn't really see any of these type of, kits. Like for example, even the full armor Gundam from the Thunderbolt series, we never actually got this type where you can actually take on and off the armor. We only got the full armor mode and really never got the inside main base unit. But either way, so I am actually really happy for this kit to be released. And keep in mind, this is from the Origins line, so it's not from the Universal Century line. So obviously, it's going to have a slightly different design or style compared to the HGUC, where so if you're very knowledgeable on the design or style difference, just keep that in mind. Alright, so once again, there's a lot to show, so let's go over the quick stuff that we can get rid of right away. So first of all, let's talk about the leftover parts. Sticker decals, and anything else that's kind of insignificant right away for now. So alright, so let's see what we got. So once again, we do get two Beam Saber effect parts. That's because we do get two Beam Saber hilts as well, so which is why you'll be using these later. And then once again, we do have some leftover polycaps. Nothing too special or not too surprising, because there's not many kits that actually use every single polycap that's given to it. But once again, there are rare cases, there are. And once again, here we have a sticker sheet. So once again, the sticker sheet has some interesting choices. So you have to choose, number one, you have your options to choose which eyes to use. So they have this orange one, or they have the typical yellow one. So once again, a more yellowish one. So I just go with that. And once again, I think depending on that, the V symbol on the crotch area has to be chosen. But once again, I decided to just color in gold, because once again, these are very difficult to apply. And once again, most of these are for the joint areas, which I will be explaining later where they go on. But the main reason why I didn't apply these is that at first I thought these were supposed to be applied on very flat surfaces, but after looking at the kit and parts, not really the case, so I decided not to use it. Same goes for this black one, which I will explain later. And once again, despite being an HG kit, once again, they actually do give us water slides, because mostly Master Grades give a lot of water slides for the premium Bandai kits, but HG wise, this is not too common. I mean, it's not the first time seeing these, but once again, kind of a uncommon situation. But yeah, once again, they do give you a good amount of water slides. Alright, and let's go over the leftover parts. So here we have the B plate. So we have the B1 and the B2 plate. So the B1, so keep in mind, this actually comes with a large amount of leftover parts, because I think it's because of the color separation or color difference compared to the original RX-78. So let's see what we got. So we have some inner parts. So this looks like the leg area and the knee joint area, so nothing too special there. And then once again, being a double plate, so once again we do get the same parts as leftovers. Now here we have I believe this is the D2 plate. So here we have the D2 plate. So here we have the white armor. So you can see there's a mixture of the green armor and white armor going on here. So so here we have like a mixture of design parts here. So we have the white leg area, and then here we have more white parts for the knee, the side skirts as well, even the hidden thrusters inside the legs going on here, the ankle armor. And then here we even still get the options for the original RX-78 shoulder parts as well. Even this part, so for those who don't remember, for the Gundam Origins RX-78 kit, you actually have the option to use this part and attach some sort of, I think it was a black or gray piece, which also works as a machine gun part, if I remember correctly. So yeah. And this one also pretty much the same case, where same parts, even here as well. Alright, here we have the C plate. So C plate, once again, we have more inner parts here. I believe these are the inside of the arms. We have the feet part, more leg areas, I believe, if I remember correctly. And yeah, that's not too much. And then once again, here we have the left trigger finger as well. So in this case, you're mostly going to be using the right trigger finger, but once again, if you want to use the left one, you can definitely do it as well. And then here we have, I believe this is the last plate. So here we have the A plate. So for the A plate, we have another spare front skirt armor. I believe these should have like different styles or design going on here. We get some shield parts, once again crotch area, and then we get the white feet area and more feet parts, even the inside head parts, a little bit more extra parts from the previous kit. I believe these should be like the scopes for the weapons, even the neck area, and for the shield. So as far as I can tell, we have parts to make the shield, but not parts to make the connector, as far as I can tell. So yeah, that was pretty much it for the leftover parts. Actually, so I'm actually missing something. Okay, there we go. Actually, no, never mind. So those were all the leftover parts. Now let's talk over the other components that you're supposed to be getting. So other than the white and green combination of the RX-78, here we have all the rest of the parts. So these are basically everything is for the full armor Gundam parts. So other than that, we do have these parts, which are the open style hands here. So let me get these out of the way. So okay, so here we have the open style hands we do get for left and right, so nothing too special there. And then we do get the right trigger finger hand part, which is for pretty much we'll be using this part for the handle part for the double barrel beam cannon. So for this guy here, so yeah, you're mostly going to be using this, but keep in mind, since we do have the left trigger finger hand, you can apply that there and then also use this here on that as well. So it's really up to your preferences. Other than that, we have all the basics here, like when I reviewed the Royal Damashi version. Here we have the chest part, here we have the back cannon part, and here is one of those black stickers I was talking about. And the good part is that these armor parts actually still, some areas retain the missile parts, so this is pretty cool. Now it doesn't have everything compared to like to the Robot Damashi version, where they even have parts for the missile parts for the front skirts, but once again, for what it is, you get what you get. So here we have the original shoulder, we have the shoulder parts, we have the arm parts once again, and all the parts that you need to make the full armor Gundam. Now I won't be showing the video applying these armor, because there are some there is a little bit of complication where if you follow the manual, they tell you to actually separate like a lot of stuff, like from the arms, legs, front skirt, and etc. So it's gonna take a long time, so I won't be doing that. But for now, I will be showing you guys the articulation of the base unit, and then I'll be showing you the full armor version. So there we go. Alright, so let's see what we got. Alright, so let's start with the kit. So once again, because of the color combination, it definitely looks a lot naked, because you know, the green of RX-78 we always known as the full armor Gundam, but now in this format definitely looks a lot naked. So once again, the head is your standard, you know, build here. You still got the eye stickers, the head camera stickers, and the back head camera stickers. That's nothing too different as well. Head can go down that much, up as much as well. So if you actually built the Gundam Origins RX-78, it's exactly the same articulation. So so just giving you guys a quick update here. So once again, you get the forward and backward shoulder movement as well. You do get a very nice bend on the body here. There is a few joints there that are a little bit stiff, but once again, once you have it right, you should be able to, you know, do all the stuff. All right, and then the backpack here. So you might have noticed, so once again, even in this format, in this form, the only weapons that the RX-78 actually has at this point is only the beam sabers. So there's no, sure, you get those shield parts, but you don't actually get the connectors. So yeah, you don't get the beam rifle or the shield. So this may be a little bit of downside to some people, but keep in mind, if you're buying this kit, you're buying for the full armor Gundam. You're not buying for this guy. All right, so. And then, you know, same shoulder joints with the main ball joint base. So rotation over there, rotation here is all still possible. Bend wise is excellent going on there. Hands are your typical ball jointed hands. Now, when applying the armor, the only part that may annoy some people, and here's some parts I forgot to take off so you can see. Side skirt armors, yeah, you actually, some armors actually just work as you get the full armor part and then you just slap it on top of it. So those are some parts I forgot to take off. And once again, kind of similar to the front skirts, but you actually have to separate these orange parts and then reapply them. So it's kind of annoying, but once again, it is what it is. And when you're actually applying the backpack for the full armor Gundam, you actually have to take off these beam sabers and these side parts as well. So which makes sense, because if you play a few games, the full armor Gundam doesn't actually use beam sabers. So pretty cool. And then once again, the front skirts they do seem like they do come as a single piece, and they do seem like you can separate them, but the middle joint isn't exactly the typical ball joint style, so I would be careful. I mean, it is a joint, but once again, it's slightly different style. Sorry about that. And then once again, we do get the back skirt. Back skirt does not move, but you do actually have armor to apply on top, even in the crotch area. So legs, you still get the the side swivel going on here, and you do get the hinge system where you can reposition the legs. And then going forward, still possible. And then backwards, not so much because of the back skirt. Going to the side, always possible. And then bend wise, you do get a very nice bend here. I'm pretty sure some people are going to be interested on how the bend changes here, but I can definitely tell not too much as you think, but still, yeah. And then feet are your typical style feet where it's ball jointed, so you do get a nice pivot joint as well, forward and backward, and you do get a nice toe bend. Alright, so we've seen the basics of the kit. So if you built the RX-78 version of the Origins line, so you know what to expect from this kit as well. It's just that you're making the most basic format here for the full armor Gundam. So once again, I'll be right back with the armor slapped on, and let's see what we get from there. Okay, I'm back. So here we have the full armor applied to the RX-78, and let's see what we got. So once again, in order to apply some armors, the manual does tell you to take off certain parts and then reapply them as well. So if anybody who's going to get this kit, it's not too difficult. As long as you know what you're doing, there should be no complications at all. So let's see what we got. So once again, let's start from the top to bottom. So let's start with the head again. So head articulation should be no difference. The head, there is no changes in the head as well. It's more like the body that actually has the changes. So let's see. Let's start from there. So the body, you apply the front armor and then the backpack armor, and they're good to go. So in the front armor, once again, it will only limit the ab crunch areas because once again, you can see this part is now actually blocking the part. So instead of an ab crunch, you're gonna have to more rely on the middle joint there. So. And then 360, I forgot to show this, but once again, oops. Now because of that, you can see certain parts are colliding with each other. So 360 is technically possible if you know where you're going, but once again, make sure you're not colliding with any parts. And here is one of those armor parts that fell off. But once again, it's really easy to reapply, so no big deal. And inside the body armor, you actually have the missile launchers, 3 each, and that is very cool. Back in the Robot Downlash version, they actually gave you firing effect parts, but once again, being an HD kit, no big deal. And then here, you can see this black orb area. Here, that's supposed to be a sticker. I decided to just use a black Gundam marker and color it. And you might notice I forgot to explain the stickers. Those stickers are meant for like joints like here, like in these type of joint areas. Mostly for the legs that you're going to use this, and then here as well. So these are not exactly flat surfaces, which is why I did not use that. Because if I did apply them, they might look even more messier. So keep that in mind. And when you're applying the backpack area, you actually do need to take off the beam saber parts like this. So yeah, if not, it's not going to fit. And when you think about it, the full armor Gundam never actually had beam sabers at the first place. It never had that. Even in Gundam Battle Operation 2, I believe this one uses close combat with his fist. Other than that, the cannon does work. It can go all the way upwards 90 degrees and then forward 90 degrees as well. So you should have no problems aiming it. Of course, once you have the missile launchers open, you're going to have some limitations there. So keep that in mind. So no big deal there. Now for the shoulders, once again, pretty easy applications. You can see there's a hole there and there's a peg inside. That's why it's able to connect. And it's a pretty easy connection and not too weak, so it won't fall off that easily. For the hands, once again, you have to actually take off the hands and then slide it in and then reapply. So yeah, this one, it works. Of course, while you're touching the kit, you may have noticed this might be a little bit on the wiggly side, but oh well. And now here we have the double beam cannon. Pretty cool weapon. I'm a big fan of these weapons, which is why I'm a big fan of the Gym Dominance. Hoping for an HD kit in the future. The way how this works is that usually if you've built the Gym Dominance or any Master Grade kit, you can see the handle here and this part is supposed to be connected. So even the Master Grade kit, what they would do is that they would have a connection here like this, and then let me connect that. And once you have the connection on, technically this part should be able to connect to the handle, but in this case for the HD kit there's no such connection here. So I can actually take this off like that. So no connection there. It's just more like an illusion going on here. So once again, so this kit does come with a left trigger finger hand. So if you bought 2 of these, you can actually dual wield this left and right if you want to do so. Although in this case, you're gonna have to take off the shield. But yeah, that's that. And or if you just want to have this on the left side, you can do that as well. So it's really up to your preference. And keep in mind, this is using the trigger finger. Alright, now for the waist section here. Now the waist section, the side skirts, as you may saw, it's pretty easy to apply and detach and apply, so no big deal. Back skirt, once again, very easy. Now the front skirt is slightly more annoying. So what you have to do is that you are able to take these parts out. If I can do this in front of camera, come on, there you go. So you can take this part out, but you've noticed that this part is missing the orange piece. That orange piece is actually this one. So every time you reapply or detach or reapply, you have to go through this. So if you want to go back to the RX-78, detach this, detach the orange part, and reattach there. So, or if you want to go with the other way around. So this might be the most annoying part of the armor application, but it's not too big of a deal. And then once again, we get the crotch armor part as well. And despite all this armor parts on, it doesn't really affect the articulation too much. Of course, the amount of angle of the front skirt that can move is slightly affected, but not by a lot, to the point where you can still go forward easily onto the legs. And then side, no big deal as well. And then bend wise, now we have the armor on. It doesn't really affect too much. The only part that's being affected is the part it's touching, colliding, but it's not by a much. It's not by much. So once again, articulation, you can say articulation is barely affected here. Even the arms, other than the collision between armors, it's still a very good amount of bend going on here as well. The bend here, rotation there is not affected at all. So you don't need to worry about it, because back then, when it comes to like these full armor types, the biggest concern was how much does it affect the articulation, and in this case, not by a lot. And now for the leg armors here. So there's actually 4 parts. So there's a side part, so the left or right part here, and they each have a different design, so keep that in mind. So this part was the thruster, this part was without the thruster, and then there's a middle part here that connects the 2 pieces here, and then the knee armor. So that's 4 parts for this leg as well. And then for the knees, you can actually open it up to reveal these missiles, which was also present in the Robot Damashi figure. The only thing that's not present compared to the Robot Damashi figure is here. The front skirts actually had, in the Robot Damashi, you could flip them up to reveal more missiles here. In this case, that's not present. And finally, for the last part is the feet armor. They're just pretty simple. You just need to slide them in front and back, so no big deal there. And because thanks to the sliding gimmick, the toe bend is not really affected by a lot. You can still do the toe bend, and yeah, and the armor does not fall off that easily. And that is pretty much it. So once again, even after the armor is all applied, it's not really that affected by a lot in terms of articulation here. And once again, it may not have the same amount as the Robot Damashi, but it still has like the fun missile launcher gimmicks going on here and there. And then once again, you have multiple weapons, and yeah. And I forgot to almost mention is that you have the beam saber effect part, and if you want to, now the Robot Damashi actually gave the beam fire effect parts, but this one, in this case, you can technically use the beam saber effect parts to give it the beam firing effect if you want to do so. So that's pretty cool. Now this is not really meant for this. It's not the exact best fit there, but it does fit. So if you want to, you can always do that. And that is pretty much it for the review. So this was the review of the P-Bandai exclusive HG Full Armor Gundam. If you guys got any questions or requests, leave a comment below. I'm actually really happy that they finally made a Full Armor Gundam. I mean, they could have... I think I would have been be happy if it didn't have the armor taking off function, but once again, really happy that we were able to get this. And hopefully maybe in the future we'll see an HGUC version of this, or maybe like the Thunderbolt version will have an update as well like this. Anyway, thank you for watching the review. Hopefully my reviews were helpful. If you guys got any questions, do leave a comment below. Until then, see you guys next time.